I was explaining to a young lady, we were talking about, I asked the question, I said, when you hear the term divine feminine, what comes to mind? And she was like nurturing, caring, power, and strength. And I said, okay, say more to me about power and strength. I think I get the nurturing and caring part. But in terms of divine feminine, and you saying power and strength, say more to me about that. And she went right to giving childbirth. And I said, but isn't that the masculine aspect of the woman? She said, what do you mean? I said, well, when you lay down with a man and you open yourself up to him so that he can plant his seed in you, I said, that position of acceptance is the feminine. You're receiving. But when you push it, but when it comes time to, and carrying it through the gestation period, you're nurturing and you're caring for it, that's feminine. I said, when it comes time to push that baby out, you got to muster up some strength and you got to get aggressive. You got to help that baby fight through what he has to fight through to come into this world. I say, that's the masculine. But as soon as the baby comes out, you take the baby in your arms again, you go back into your feminine energy. I said, so we're wanting to say that because a woman does something, everything she does is feminine, is not accurate. I said, because you could be sitting up in the house, rocking your baby in your arms, somebody breaking your house, and you feel like they're going to hurt your child, and you grab a shovel and hang him upside the head. Is that the feminine beating him upside the head with a shovel?
No.
Or is that your masculine? Right? So part of us getting away from, and I know, for the most part, I know we get it, right? That men are both masculine and feminine.
I don't want to knock you off, but
yeah.
Can you give an example on the male side of the feminine?
A male being feminine, a man going into his feminine energy. Man, okay, let me get personal.
You a crowd.
No, I'm talking about No, but I mean, it can be. So like, okay, I took my baby girl Nikki out when she was in middle school, and something happened, and we were getting ready to go pick her mom up, but we got the call that I'm gonna be running late. So we were like, okay, so we went to get something to eat. And I was just sitting at the table, and me and her were having a conversation, and she was just talking about normal stuff that 6th grade kids talk about. And I found myself listening to her, hearing her in a way I had never heard her before, right? Because I was actually receiving what she was saying, right? And I felt myself tearing up because as I was listening to her, I was recognizing how precious she was and how beautiful she was and how as her dad, and I have to put myself in position to help her grow into the best version of herself that she can do. So maybe that's an example of what I mean by a man being feminine. And it could be when
I got one.
Yeah.
Your Yakutat, bro. You know what I'm saying? The creative inspiration that's coming from within, that's coming from that place where, that's feminine. Now when you begin to put it on the paper and go and make the moves about bringing it into the real world, that's masculine, that's the action. But the inspiration and the creativity, that's feminine. You know what I'm saying? So that's when they both work together. When you have an idea coming from within you, and then you take that action. No, wait a minute. Okay, now it's time to get it out. Like you said, the baby goes in. The baby, you plant the seed.
Right.
The seed is in there. Now you time to push it out.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So like
on the flip side too, it could be with your kids. Like you gotta handle your kids with care. I'm just saying for a man. You know what I'm saying? A male where a male could be in his feminine energy is when you're caring for your kids, but you care for them with gingerly. You could hurt them, but you handle them with grace. It's the same thing with your woman too.
Right.
If your woman needs cuddling or holding, is that the feminine? You're nurturing her.
Right.
You're showing affection. You're being vulnerable. You're allowing her to or if she's in mourning and you're consoling her.
Right.
That's the feminine. I think that's feminine action.
Yeah, so
truth be told, you can't have one without the other. So they always working. They always working.
Fluctuate and balance, and
that's part of the disconnect is that we have removed androgynous dynamic of a human being.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's no real way for you to break it up. So you can kind of try to give examples, but when you try to break it up, that's why we're in the confusion that we are now as a whole.
Because they try to make it two different things, but it's all
when
Yeah,
it's
you
the
try to
same
be
thing.
all one thing and all the time. Now
Right.
you're unbalanced.
Right.
So if a man tell you I don't have a feminine, you call BS.
He's probably the
Oh,
most,
100%.
he's probably the
It's
most
not
feminine.
even
Like
possible.
that person saying that.
Yeah, he's whining then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's basically, because that's,
I mean,
no, look, because that's
I mean, he's lying, so you know how. So you know.
say this, right? It's that's completely based off of emotion. There's no fact in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's feminine. That's our emotions and things like that. It's generated from our feminine energy. What we do with them is masculine. You know,
Right.
like I said, I get inspiration for a song. That's my feminine energy. Then I start putting it down on the paper. You know what I'm saying? That's my masculine taking it into action. Then when I'm presenting it, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's all happening at one time. That's what's gathering the people in. That's what's connecting with the people, because it's a balance. It's a harmony there, and people are resonating with it without even having to think about it, because they're one and the same with that. You know what I'm saying? It's innate. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we big up these people that can like exist in those spaces, like a Serena Williams or a Prince. You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying? Somebody that's like, because they just innately operate out of both proudly and embrace it. It's like the polarity is, like he said, the androgynous.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's like some of this shit is not even, you don't even have to like dig that deep. Like nature will show you. Like as a man, you have nipples.
You're a mammal, bro.
Right. But what are your nipples for if you're a man?
You're a little weird without them.
It's nothing.
It's like it's a standard for these suits.
Right.
The inside dictates what the outside's gonna be.
Right. And we didn't have, bro, we look crazy.
Your body's telling you like the template is probably starts this way, and then something else happened. Like that's like we try to explain shit that ain't supposed to be explained, and the shit that's in our face we be like, "We just got nipples, bro. I don't know." It's like we're androgynous people. We're beings that are androgynous.
Yeah.
So that's what. And now as we witness it,
We're
like,
androgynous in a lot of ways, though.
Right,
Because
in a
people
lot of
make
ways.
it just that masculine and feminine, but it's like physical and metaphysical.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of
It's a lot
different
of-
planes that we're like bipolar.
It's a balance that you find yourself in. The imbalance is the trouble.
Yep.
When we think that it's like one thing.
polarized.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a polarizing thing.